21 games in this video can easily be adapted for all ages, skill levels, and different size groups, although we will be using small groups of children for most of the demonstrations. You will quickly see that the variety of exercises are nearly endless, but they all have one common purpose: to help both young and older athletes alike quickly build reflex and reaction skills while, at the same time, having fun. Thank you for joining us for the Z-Ball Games.
Hi, I'm Joe Dinoffer. Just say the words quick reflexes or quick reactions and it gets your adrenaline pumping. Every single movement sport requires them. Just where do quick reflexes come from? Studies show that reflexes and reactions are an acquired skill and can be improved upon, even for the most successful athletes. Although there are many exercises that focus on quick reflexes, few work on catching reflexes, visual reactions, as well as movement and balance, all at the same time. The new, redesigned Z-Ball meets this challenge and more. For this first game, pair up the young athletes 6 to 8 feet apart and place a hula hoop or draw a circle with chalk in the middle between them. Tosses must be underhand as well as soft and must bounce in the circle. Players alternate tossing to one another and points are scored for each player to catch the ball on one bounce. Games can be played until one player reaches 11 or 21 points. A fun extension of the first game is for 3 instead of 2 players at the same time. In this variation, one player tosses underhand into the circle and the other 2 players try to catch it. The catcher receives a point and then tosses the next ball. The ball must be caught on one bounce, and if it isn't, the same tosser tosses the Z-ball again. Games can be played until one player reaches 11 or 21 points. This next skill builder just needs a wall, a Z-ball, and enthusiasm. Have the young athlete adjust their distance from the wall and the speed of the toss to their own age and skill level. Then, simply toss the ball against the wall and let it bounce before trying to catch it. For a challenge, try to catch it 5 or even 10 times in a row. Now, with 2 young athletes tossing against a wall, you have to also add a target on the wall for the toss to hit inside. In this case, we are taping a hula hoop to the wall, but chalk or masking tape works just as well. Have the players alternate soft, underhand tosses from a designated starting line. Points are scored when the receiver catches the ball after one bounce, and games can be played to 11 or 21 points. A natural extension of the last game is with 3 athletes. One tosses to the other 2 with the same guidelines. Namely, the toss must be underhand and hit the wall inside the target. The other 2 try to catch it after one bounce, and the catcher receives a point and then tosses the next one. The ball must be caught on one bounce, and if it isn't, the same tosser tosses the Z-ball again. Games can be played until one player reaches 11 or 21 points. In this next wall game variation, the young athlete has to toss the ball against the ground first, and then, after it bounces off the wall, he or she has to catch it out of the air. For a challenge, try to catch it 5 or even 10 times in a row. Now, with 2 players, have them alternate throws from a designated starting line. This time, however, place a hoop or mark an area on the ground where the first bounce must land. It will then bounce off the wall, and the other player tries to score points by catching the Z-ball out of the air after it bounces off the wall. Have the tossers alternate throws and play games until someone reaches 11 or 21 points. The next logical extension is to have 3 players compete together. One tosses to the other 2 with the same guidelines. The other 2 try to catch it out of the air, and the catcher receives a point and then tosses the next one. The ball must be caught out of the air, and if it isn't, the same tosser tosses again. Now let's move to a reaction catching game for 2 players. Players line up across from one another on opposite sides of a hoop or with 2 lines separating them. They simply take turns softly tossing underhand to the other player so that the first bounce of the Z-ball is in the designated area. The receiver can choose to let the ball bounce 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times before catching it, and is awarded that number of points if successful. If the player drops the ball, then the same number attempted is given to the server. The serve changes after every point, and games are played until one player reaches 21. This next exercise is both challenging and a lot of fun, requiring both fast hands and fast feet. Play a regular set of tennis without a racket, but use a Z-ball. Both players must let the ball bounce only once, and all tosses are underhand. A point is lost when a player fails to catch the ball or if it is tossed outside the boundaries. And of course, as an option to tennis scoring, you can score like ping pong or volleyball if you want. Any type of court can be used as long as there is a net in the middle. This next skill builder is perfect for baseball, but in many ways a lot more challenging. With anywhere from 1 to 5 athletes, have one assigned to throw or hit ground balls, and have them practice fielding. We recommend practicing this game both with baseball gloves and then without, to develop all the right skills needed for developing quick hands. To create a simple competition, rotate the players and score 1 point with each ball that is caught. This next game is absolutely a challenge, even for world-class athletes. Pair up the players and have one hold 2 Z-balls and toss them both from one hand at the same time. The goal of the partner is to catch both balls at the same time, one in each hand. Sound easy? Try it for yourself to find out. This next game not only requires quick hands and reflexes, but also a lot of cooperation and teamwork. Each pair of athletes has 3 Z-balls and tosses all 3 up at the same time. Their goal as a team is to catch all 3 balls after one bounce. And it can be made competitive with a larger group by seeing how many 3-ball catches each pair can cooperatively make in 60 seconds. Here's a solo skill builder that adds the dimension of jogging to building reflex and reaction skills. With the ball in hand, have an athlete jog around the play area and continuously toss and self-catch the Z-ball after one bounce. This exercise also works on quick direction changes. To challenge each player, see how many catches they can make in 60 seconds and have them compete against their own results. A natural extension of this last exercise is to have the young athletes jog in pairs and cooperatively play bounce and catch with each other using one Z-ball per team. Working on quick direction changes is also a benefit of this game, and to create a competition, just see how many catches each team can make in 60 seconds. Now let's move to a variation of volleyball, except this game uses the Z-ball. Set up an equal number of players on each team and play with the same rules as traditional volleyball, with only one minor rule adjustment. The ball must bounce after going over the net, and all tosses must be made underhand. Also, on each side of the net, there are 2 mandatory bounce passes. If any ball is not caught after one bounce, the other team wins the point. This next game adds a new dimension to all of the previous exercises, since it uses the unpredictable Z-ball with a tennis ball at the same time. Pair up 2 young athletes and have each toss 2 balls, one Z-ball and one tennis ball, to their partner at the same time. This is obviously a cooperative game, but to make it challenging, see how many 2-ball catches each pair can successfully make in 60 seconds. Here's another cooperative game with the players organized into pairs with each team using one Z-ball. Have them toss to each other with one unique feature. The catcher starts off turned away from the tosser and only turns when the tosser calls out his or her name. This game also doubles as a great way to get the participants in a group to learn each other's names quickly. Another exercise that helps develop agility as well as quick hands is this simple drill, which any child or even older athlete can perform by themselves. Simply have them toss the ball up into the air and make a 360-degree spin before catching the Z-ball after the first bounce. A natural variation of the last game is to pair the young athletes and have one toss to the other. The tosser should call out spin as they toss the ball into the air. To make it competitive in a large group setting, simply have the players keep track of how many successful catches they can make in 60 seconds after making a full 360-degree turn. Let's finish this video with a solo skill builder that will challenge even the most agile athletes. Have the athlete toss the Z-ball up in the air and then immediately make a 720-degree spin. After completing the full double spin, they have to catch the ball after its first bounce. And again, to make it challenging in a group setting, have each player count how many times he or she can successfully accomplish this task in 60 seconds. Like all the other games in this video, this exercise is both fun and skill building all at the same time.